tonight is brought to you by Florida Power and Light. Let's please thank them for being the lead sponsor. I'm going to take a quick moment to introduce myself. My name is Caitlin Lewis of the law firm of Lacey, Lyons, and Rosenka. I'm also the Executive Director of Business Voice. I will act as your MC for the evening. Hopefully you do not hear from me too much tonight, but please, if you have any questions as the night goes on, look for me or somebody with a host name tag. We'd like to take a quick moment to acknowledge the other sponsors that made tonight possible. Our bronze sponsor, Matthew's Hope Ministries. Our other bronze sponsor, Brevard County Professional Firefighters Local 2969 in the back. We have our exclusive media sponsor, Space Coast Daily. We have a photography sponsor tonight, Susan Aldefer Photography LLC. Thank you all for being a sponsor of this evening. We are delighted to welcome 55 candidates tonight and advocacy groups. That's amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause. We encourage you all to take a moment to interact with the candidates, the groups that learn more about all of the candidates and the various issues. Please remember to keep discussions cordial and professional to ensure enjoyable event for the rest of us. If you encounter any issues at any time, please report them to the volunteers or to security personnel so we can address the issue promptly. Candidates and organizations, we will be recognizing you on stage, but that will not take place until 5:30. You do not have an opportunity to speak. I will try my best to get your name or your organization's name correct. It will be based on table number, so you will hear your table section called, and please gather up here at that time. Please remember, if you are a candidate, there's no campaigning throughout the room. Please stick to your 6-foot table as assigned. Upon arrival, you should have received a program with a run of show. This will list all of the candidates and the groups by table number and their location. Event rules and regulations are also included. If you did not receive a program, please go to the front entryway and get one now. Speaking of rules, this is important. Please keep in mind that this is a community event with attendees having various and often differing political affiliations, ideologies, opinions, policy views, and candidate support. The host organizations would like to remind you and caution you, every attendee and participant tonight, that as Florida law would have it, any recording of any conversations must have the consent from all parties involved. We encourage civility and a healthy exchange of political discourse tonight. If you see any unauthorized recording or curious exchanges, please advise a host volunteer immediately. We'd like to thank the deputies from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office that are here tonight to ensure our safety. You all came for the straw poll. I am sure there is a location in this corner, the far left corner, and the far right corner on the other side. The straw poll will close promptly at 7 o'clock. Announcements of the winners will begin at 7:15. Please keep in mind, this includes primary and general ballot candidates, and we will announce the top vote getter from each party for partisan elections. All results will be shown up here on this screen. Only qualified candidates are listed on the straw poll. Please note, the straw poll is not scientific, it is just for entertainment purposes only. The barbecue meal is through these doors, so please feel free to help yourself. Gray ticket is a meal, red ticket is a drink. We thank you all for being a part of this event, and we will be back soon to introduce your candidates. Please enjoy.
And good evening, folks, on Space Coast Daily. That was the beginning of the Space Coast Political Hobnob here, presented by Florida Power Light. We are in for a treat here tonight where you're going to be able to see over 50 booths here at the Space Coast Convention Center here in Cocoa. and be able to meet some of these candidates that are running for office. So we got a really exciting time. What we're going to do here on Space Coast Daily is we're going to go and we're going to take a visit at some of the booths along the way, be able to meet some of these candidates and learn more about the issues that are important to them as they get ready for the August 20th primary, which is only 2 weeks away. Now we're right in the very heart of the political season, and you can see it's a massive crowd out here right now. Every race that is out here on the Space Coast that people are going to be vying for your vote on August 20th are here today. As I mentioned, we have over 50 booths here today at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa. The event just started at 5 o'clock, so what we are going to have is all the way up until 7:30, we are going to be getting ready for a straw poll that is going to be taken at the end of the night. And that straw poll is not a scientific poll, but it is an indication of where the voters could be leaning. But there's going to be a lot of people out here where this is an opportunity to be able to learn more about candidates and eventually cast your vote in a straw poll, and we'll get a better understanding as to where we are as we get ready for the August 20th primary here on the Space Coast for election 2024, all in lead up to the November 5th election in November. We're very excited here, a bunch of candidates here, and we're going to get some interviews here in just a little bit. We're going to have a chance to be able to meet some of these candidates. Some of them you may have already seen on Space Coast Daily. Other ones you're going to be able to meet for maybe the very first time. And a lot of these people are just getting underway here at the Space Coast Convention Center. If you are looking to attend to tonight's ceremonies, you can come until 7:30 tonight. You still have time to be able to come down here to the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa and be able to learn more about candidates. So this is a great opportunity to be able to do that. So we're going to be getting started here in just a little bit. We're going to have our interview with some of our candidates here in just a second. Beautiful, festive atmosphere here. Very exciting time. We're looking forward to getting underway here at the Space Coast Convention Center as we make your voice heard here for election 2024. Well, let's start off with the man himself, Tim Bobanek, who's running for Supervisor of Elections. We're live on Space Coast Daily. Tim, how are you doing? Good to see you. What better way to start? You're going to be our first interview. You're the Supervisor of Elections here for Brevard County. So tell us, we're only a couple weeks away. How are things going so far? Are you getting ready for the election season?
We are doing absolutely fantastic in the elections office. We already got mail ballots coming in. If you go to votebrevard.gov and scroll down, you can see the live turnout of what we received, not only broken down by party, but by district. And then most importantly, we start early voting Saturday. And my office and I have been busy setting up early voting sites this week. We set 2 up every day, and we are preparing for early voting. We'll be open 8 to 4 on the weekends and 8 to 6 Monday through Friday.
If people have questions about whether they're registered to vote or not, how would they best find that out?
All you have to do is go to votebrevard.gov and click on My Registration Status and type in your information, and it'll tell you not only that you're registered to vote, what your party is, your precinct. It'll give you directions and a picture of your polling place. It'll give you all great information.
Tim, you were appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. You're seeking re-election now. Talk about, in your first term, what did you learn most about the job, and where in your next term do you want to maybe improve upon or maybe add on to your next term?
Well, my background is IT and cybersecurity, so I'm a big believer in using technology to streamline the process. We did that. We just made a simple change. We added a different type of printer to our operation that saved us tens of thousands of dollars by completely eliminating a position that we didn't need at the polling places for early voting. And so we've done a really good job, and I'm a big believer in that, but making sure that everything is still secure. The best thing we ever did was the system that I implemented in 2021. It's our clear ballot audit system, where we conduct a 100% audit on every ballot, every race, every precinct, and every election.
That's been a growing concern amongst a lot of people with everything that's been going on is election security. How can you best assure the people, like you mentioned some of it just right now, but how can you best assure people when they vote on November 5th and August 20th that their vote represents their interests?
And that's the best thing about that audit system. Since we implemented it in 2021, we've never had an election that was less than 99.99% accurate between our two audit systems. And considering the 2022 election, the general had 7.9 million ovals filled out across 500,000 ballot pages, and we were that accurate. That's a statement that Brevard is the gold standard for election integrity.
You know, one thing about Brevard County is we're so quick to count the vote on the days of that we're voting. What's the secret to your success on that?
Really, it's Florida law. It allows us to start tabulating those mail ballots in advance, and we're going to start this weekend so that on election night, we have all the mail ballots tabulated, we have all the early voting results in, and all we're waiting for is election day. That's a big difference between some of these other states that you hear that they're counting weeks on end. Their election laws don't allow them to start counting their mail ballots until after election day. Well, you know what? If I had to do that, I'd be counting for a week or two on end as well. So that's what I'm really appreciative that our legislators, had the foresight to, let us tabulate those ballots in advance so that you pretty much know on election night who the winners are.
One of the big things I think that a lot of people also need to consider is that find out where you're voting at, what precinct that you're going to be voting at, because that can change from time to time.
It does, and 2 years ago we did a redistricting as a result of the school board changes. So if you go to Vote Brevard and that my registration status or find my precinct, that'll tell you exactly where you need to go. It's also on your voter information card that you will receive from my office.
Great job, Tim. Thank you very much for taking time with Space Coast Daily, and have a fun night tonight.
Always a pleasure. You guys have a good night too.
Thanks, Tim. That's Tim Bobanek. He is running for Supervisor of Elections or re-election, and the point man for the election security and making sure that everything goes off without a hitch here on the Space Coast on election night and primary night for that matter too. You'll be able to see all those results on Space Coast Daily once the votes come in. We're going to continue on here. We're going to go right through. Once again, if you're just tuning in here on Space Coast Daily, we're here at the Space Coast Political Hobnob at the Space Coast Convention Center, presented by Florida Power and Light. As you can see, it's a very festive atmosphere. We got Patricia Weeks. We have Patricia Weeks. How's it going? We're live on Space Coast Daily right now, and we just wanted to get a quick interview with you and talk about how's it been going so far, and what are you hearing out there amongst the community, and what issues are most important to the people of Cocoa?
Well, in my particular district, which is District 3, the west part, there's issues with some roads that people need. That 524, when is that going to get four-laned? Adamson and 524, dangerous area. When can something be done about that? How are they going to fix the Cocoa curve down there by Clear Lake? People are on those roads every day. That's a biggie. And so we're going to work on that. And I've talked with the transportation people about when they will get the funding, and we're going to see how we can push those things along.
Patricia Weeks, you're running for Cocoa City Council, District 3. We're getting ready here for the primary. How are you feeling about the primary right now?
I'm not in the primary. It's a
nonpartisan
race.
Okay.
And I'm unopposed.
Very nice. Well, that's a very easy race, right?
My opponent resigned and left.
Okay.
So I am now unopposed.
Okay.
So it's looking really good.
Yeah, you must be doing really good, right?
Did not scare them off. People kept calling, going, "Did you scare them off?" I said, "No."
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Patricia, and taking time with Space Coast Daily. We're going to continue on here and move along. We're still live here on Space Coast Daily. We're going to talk to John Thomas, who's running for school board. Zach Clark on Space Coast Daily. We're live right now, running for District 3, John Thomas. John, you're getting ready for the primary. How you feeling about the race so far?
Well, we're excited. It's been a long campaign, and we have 2 weeks left, so I'm ready to get to the end.
What do you find most people are concerned about or want addressed on the school board for the next session?
Most people want us to get back to focusing on education and get off all the social stuff and just get back to teaching our kids and making Brevard Public Schools as good as they can possibly be.
We're getting ready. Everybody's getting ready to go back to schools now. Teachers reported back to school on Friday, and then students are getting back to school now. One of the things I want to really credit you guys is you guys have run a great campaign, and everything that you guys do, I know you're doing it for the kids, and I know that's what inspired you to run for school board.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm a lifelong Brevard County resident, and I have 6 grandkids. I'm a product of Brevard Public Schools, and I care about our community, so I just want to I want us to get back on track. We have a lot of work to do to get the schools moving in the right direction, and I think I have the expertise to help do that, so that's why I'm running.
For those that may be curious, District 3, what areas does that cover for the school board? What areas are we looking at?
It's basically 192 New Haven, south to the county line, and I-95 east to the ocean, with the exception it goes west of 95 over around Bayside Lakes.
All right. Well, any final message to the people before the August 20th primary that you want to give a final message to?
Well, if you want more information about me, my website's johnthomas4schoolboard.com. Call me. I'm interested. I'll talk to anybody that has any questions, and I appreciate your consideration. I'd love to have your vote.
Thank you, John Thomas, running for District 3 here of the school board. We got a few races for the school board this year. We're going to talk to a few more here in just a little bit. We're going to continue on here. We got Greg Lloyd. Greg Lloyd? Space Coast Daily, Zach Clark. We're live on Space Coast Daily. Just take a few moments with you and ask you about your campaign and what issues are important to you. So how's the campaign going so far for you?
It's going pretty well so far. I took over the state committee man position in the middle of June when Mike Thomas resigned. So I'm pretty new at it. I'm learning the ropes. I went from being elected into the position right into a campaign, so learning under fire.
Yeah.
But I'm basically a communication bridge between the RPOF and the Brevard Republicans, not just the BREC. Al and I would work directly with the Republican clubs. Got to get the information out. Biggest thing is everybody needs to get out to vote. That is the biggest job that I have to do. Make sure we get that done. Okay? That's right now, and then between now and the general, vote, vote, vote.
You're seeking re-election now. What would you like to do in your next term should you be re-elected?
Well, one of the primary goals that we have is to make sure all of the voters that are expecting to get their vote by mail ballots, but in January of 2023, when they passed the bill where they were wiped off the rolls as vote by mail recipients, we got to get those people their vote by mail ballots. We got to get them back to where they get them, or they're not going to vote. And right now, the numbers are quite high, so we got to get that fixed. That's number one. And number two is really just to increase the transparency between the RPOF within the Republican Party in Brevard County, and just make sure everybody knows what's going on. I mean, so far that's what I find is a big problem.
What if people want more information about you, or they want to learn more about what issues are important to you? Do you have a website? Anybody where people can go to be able to find out more information about you, or a Facebook page?
It's voteforgloyd.com.
Great.
They'll give everything you need.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Greg Lloyd. Thanks, Sam. We're going to continue on here. Actually, again, we just started at 5 o'clock. It's going to run till 7:30 here tonight. They will have a straw poll at the end of the day. How's it going? How's it going?
Good.
Hammer?
Yeah, Mike Hammer, how's it going?
Good. Zach Clark, Space Coast Daily. We're live right now. We'll get a quick interview with you.
Yep.
And you're running for Palm Bay City Council Seat 2.
Yes, sir.
What are you finding on the Palm Bay City Council that you want to be able to address if you are elected?
Well, there's a lot of corruption going on, and there's a lot of, I would say, a lot of things that aren't being addressed. I'm an ex-City of Palm Bay employee, so I know how the city works and how the city operates, and I know what's not being done. There's a lot of things that could be fixed that aren't being fixed. A lot of mismanagement, and we are lacking experience heavily.
Palm Bay is such a fast-growing community. It's one of the fastest-growing communities in the state of Florida and in the country, too. What are you seeing that is most important for people that they want to have addressed immediately?
Oh, obviously infrastructure. Infrastructure is huge. You cannot go anywhere in 10 minutes anymore. You are waiting 15, 20, 30 minutes to get anywhere. Our roads have been mismanaged heavily, and our road program has been mismanaged. We need to actually fix our impact fees, start bringing in good, strong, positive business. When we do that, we're going to actually take the tax burden off the residents and we'll be able to get our taxes down, get better streets, wider streets, and actually bring things for people to do in Palm Bay. I really want to have a self-sustaining Palm Bay. Right now we're spending Palm Bay money outside of Palm Bay, and that has to stop immediately.
If people want more information about you and what of the issues that are important to you, how can they best, what's a website or a Facebook page, how can they best reach out to you?
My best thing is I love talking to people. My phone number is 321-821-8889. It is on all the time. That's my personal number. I can also be reached via email. It's hammerthecorruption2024@gmail.com.
That is about one of the coolest emails I think I've heard yet.
Anyway,
thank you very much.
Thank you for everything you guys do. I'm actually a football coach at West Melbourne also. So you guys come out, even from flag football to I'm all the way up to 10U. I've coached there 22 years. So I'd say the last 5-6 years with Daryl. I mean, you guys have been amazing. Thank you for everything you do in the community.
Well, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to football season. Absolutely.
Oh, trust me, it's already started out there for us.
Thank you very much. Well, running for Palm Bay City Council, seat 2, and that's Richard Mike Hammer. We're going to continue on here, and we got John Hurt. All right. Hearton. Okay. All right, John, we're going to have a quick interview. We're live here on Space Coast Daily right now. We're getting ready for the August 20th primary. You're right. Okay. All right. I'll try to get a quick word with him then. One sec. We'll come back. We'll continue on. Debbie Mayfield. Hi, we're live on Space Coast Daily right now. How you doing, Debbie? We're doing good. We're getting ready for the campaign and we're ready for the August 20th primary. How are you feeling so far?
I feel good. We're knocking on doors. We're making phone calls. We're getting great positive feedback. I mean, it's just, everything's going well, but, you never know until August 20th. So we're just not letting up. We're just keep going.
Debbie, you're running for State House. Talk a little bit about what do you want to try to address in the next term if you are elected?
Well, some of the stuff that I want to continue is continue what we did before. Make sure the Indian River Lagoon is getting their share of funding that we need, and make sure that we're applying the money the way it needs to be applied. So I'm going to stay focused on the environment. Parents' rights have always been, close to us, and we're going to continue to make sure that we are focused on the kids and the parents. When we go back up there. Insurance, we're going to continue to tweak it. We're going to continue to watch it. We've done some great strides the past 3 or 4 years on insurance. We're not where we need to be, but we're working toward that, and I want to make sure that we continue through that. So there's just a lot of there's no reason to do a bill unless there's a problem, and so what I want to do is just make sure the stuff we have been addressing that we stay on top of, and make sure the accountability is there for the people that have told us they need help, that they're taking care of it and they're following through.
If people want to learn more about you or issues that you want to be able to address in your next term, how can they best reach you? You got a website?
It's debbie.mayfield.com.
All right. You'll be able to find out more information about Debbie Mayfield, who's running for State House. Thank you very much, Debbie, for taking time with Space Coast Daily. Enjoy your time. Okay? We're going to continue on here. It's very crowded here at the Space Coast Convention Center here in Cocoa. This is Matt Susan here. Come here, Matt. We're live on Space Coast Daily. And here's Orville Susan making a guest appearance right here of the front of the locker room.
Telling me he's going to vote for my opponent, so I was trying to wear him out. I was like, come on, Orville, you got to vote for me.
We'll see you at 7:15.
Hey, Matt, we're doing great. How's it been going so far?
Real good. We got a lot of support coming out here as usual. Just excited to be part of the process. See a lot of really good friends out here. This is a great event, amazing event. I mean, there's so much energy in here. People are cheering for their people. We're having a good time.
Matt, just the recent news of the school district being given an A rating now. Very exciting time for you.
I know.
And
did you guys know that we have an A school district for the first time in 5 years? Here, I know you guys are trying to get by. Don't forget to support Matt Susan when you go to the poll.
Vote for Timmy Tucker, Brevard County Judge, Group 10.
Energy right there. See the energy? Good job.
I love it.
You guys want to speak 5 years. I don't want to make you guys upset.
Very exciting times, though. And you also just recently.
Let's talk about
about that? A school district for the first time in 5 years? Come on, I'll let you go through as soon as you get an opportunity. But come on, you can't. If you're not excited about that as a Brevard resident, because what people don't pay attention to is that our school scores are what drive a lot of the economics. So if we have an A school district, more companies are going to be able to come here because they'll say, hey, I would love to live there if it's an A school district. That's the key. We want to drive it as an economic engine and be great.
We just also cut the ribbon on the VR Middle School as well last week, which is a very exciting time, and I know you were very passionate about that.
That was, and I want to give a big shout out to Karen Henderson. Karen Henderson is a school board member that was there before me. She also advocated, and all the individuals that fought before me, they do an amazing job. That school, bar my words, will be the highest achieving middle school in the state within 4 years. I promise you that.
Amazing stuff. Susan, I know you also want to talk a little bit about what you want to address in the next term for the school board. What are some things that you want to be able to address in the next term?
Absolutely. So one of the things we did was we created the best trades programs in the state. What we want to do is we have a problem getting the kids from the trades programs to those jobs. So what we're going to do is we're going to move those jobs in. So what we're going to do is ViStar Credit Union moved into Melbourne High School. We want to take manufacturers and put them in the high school. So the kid gets up, takes their math, science, reading, and everything else, walks down the hallway, gets to work, and then they get on-the-job credit. And they don't have to be worried about getting transportation and everything else. That's a huge economic disadvantage for some of the students. There's some great kids out there that we want to have. So we're going to move towards those trades, and then we really want to drive achievement. I want to be in the top 10 in the state. We're number 19 now. We jumped a significant amount of school districts. We're going to continue to do it.
Matt, if people want to find out more about you, how can they best reach you for a website?
Yep, teamsusan.com. It's TEAM, of course, and then SUSIN.
Thank you very much, Matt Susan. Thank you very much, Matt.
Thanks a lot. We love
That's
it. Everything else. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Matt. We're going to continue on here. It is a very hot venue here in the Space Coast Convention Center. We're continuing on here, and we got, looks like we have what do we got here? Understanding school choice. Yeah. Are you comfortable talking about Space Coast Daily? We're live right now on Space Coast Daily. Talk a little bit about school choice, what exactly, what it is and what it entails. Obviously, school choice.
For school choice, I'm with the League of Women Voters. My name is Gina Lindhorst, and we are having a position on school choice. We have actually from the League of Women Voters in Florida a pamphlet that describes the differences in the different schools and where our tax money goes. And we have all kinds of other good information for all the people that are interested in voting. We want to make sure everybody registers and gets their question answered about all kinds of issues. Vote 411 is the way to go. We have a wonderful program that we have candidates and the amendments for the state of Florida according to everybody's ballot when they put in their address.
Thank you, Gina Lindhorst, for the League of Women Voters. They're doing a great job here talking about school choice. Thank you very much, Gina. We're going to continue on here. Max Madel, his booth is here. Erica Orris, who is running for House of Representatives, District 33. Continuing on here. We're going to continue on here, and we have a very familiar face to Space Coast Daily, Mike Herodopoulos, who is running for Congress, and I know this is a very exciting time for you. You've been very busy. Been getting a lot of endorsements lately, too.
Well, we're very blessed. As you know, Donald Trump endorsed us, and just today, Ron DeSantis also endorsed us as well. So every statewide elected official has endorsed our campaign. But the biggest endorsement, obviously, I'm looking for is the voters in this community. We got a great poll number back there today. We have about a 50-point lead. But we're here because these are where the voters are. But most importantly, in November, we need to turn this country around. I mean, we have so many problems here at home, let alone overseas. And the first thing that people have asked me to do is to close the border. I mean, bad people are coming across, they're undercutting jobs, it's causing prices to rise, crime is up because they're just not doing their fundamental job. And so when Bill and others asked me to run, I felt like I needed to step up and do everything I can to help this community that's been so good to me. My wife and I, we've lived here forever. It seems like we've been here 35 years. And the fact that that I might have the opportunity to serve in Congress means the world to me.
Brevard County is growing so fast right now. There's so many people moving to Florida. You talked a little bit about some of the things that are important to the voters, but can you expand upon that a little bit more? What are you hearing from the voters? What do they want you to be able to address on day one if you are elected?
Well, number one, beyond the border, which is day one, we can close that border. But the second part is make America affordable again. I mean, and the biggest issue there, the cost driver, one is gas prices. You and I both know that it costs $1.75 a gallon. A few years ago, it's $3.50 now, and that causes restaurant prices, let alone overall food prices, to cost more because it costs more to move from A to B. So if we say to the government, look, you need to remove those barriers so we can become energy independent again, and allow things like the Keystone Pipeline to happen, that's going to drive down prices. And that will help not only drive down prices, but it'll help folks who are hurting right now because they're paying too much. And it'll also drive, in turn, interest rates down. Because remember, interest rates went from 3% to 7%. And so if you live on the beach side or anywhere else where it's a house is like $400 grand, that's like $1,200 a month more in interest payments. That's 15 grand a year. And so if we can close the border and bring prices down, America changes overnight. And I think that's why people are so excited about our campaign. They know I've done it before in the state level, and I think I can do my part to make sure we do it at the national level.
Former state president, state senate president, you have a lot of experience working with people in tough situations. If you are elected, you're going to go to D.C. and you're going to have to negotiate and have to work with people on the other side of the aisle. How are you best going to do that?
Well, first of all, there's some issues that Republicans and Democrats don't get along on. And we have to admit, let's not have that debate. That's for the electorate to deal with. But we can get along on national defense issues. We can get along on transportation issues, environmental issues, I think. And I hope that we can come together with supporting Israel against the evil that surrounds them, as we all evidenced on October 7th. So I'm going to look for common ground on those issues, but on tax issues and some others, we're probably not going to get anywhere. But let's have a conversation on things we can agree on, and that's what I'm going to focus on.
Well, thank you very much, Mike, for taking time with Space Coast Daily, and we look forward to seeing you more.
It makes a difference because we have a desperate need for it, and you guys are doing it every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. Mike Herodopoulos running for Congress. And obviously a seat that was left open after the retirement of Bill Posey, who held that position for a very long time. We're going to continue on here. They're having people going up on stage right now as well, where they're going in and kind of talking to the voters, talking to everybody in the room, and that's kind of what you're seeing right now. There's just some people that are going up there being introduced. They will eventually get up in front and will eventually speak at some point. Some of them will. But everybody's getting ready here for the straw poll that's going to be happening towards the later end of the event, which is going to be, the end of the event is at 7:30. So we'll be able to get some straw poll results, and you'll be able to see those on Space Coast Daily when we get those results in. We're continuing on here. Zach Clark here for Space Coast Daily here at the Space Coast Political Hobnob presented by Florida Power and Light. Everybody is getting ready here for the August 20th primary and eventually the November 5th election, which is going to be a very exciting time. And we talked to a host of people so far. We're going to get a few more interviews here for you. All right, we're going to continue on here, and we got a bill that's vote yes on 3 to legalize recreational marijuana. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking with here today?
Cynthia Brewer.
Cynthia Brewer.
Julie Kurtz, Florida Cannabis Action Network.
So talk about this. Yes on 3. Obviously, I just kind of mentioned it, but I'll let you highlight it. What is yes on 3?
Okay, so we already passed a medical cannabis program back in 2016 with substantial support from the Florida voters. And now we are trying to get everyone up on 3, which is going to be an adult use program, legally able to possess cannabis if you're over the age of 21. So it's baby steps. We're going to get it exactly where we want it, but we need everyone to be super supportive for this because we only really have one chance at it.
We also need to know who we're putting in office too. Once it does get passed, we need to make sure the people in office are watching out for the patients and for Floridians.
You're starting to see more and more states legalize it all across the United States, and in Florida, there's growing support, as I understand, to be able to.
Right now, we've got 38 states that are implementing or have implemented a medical program. 24 of them have done an adult use program. Florida specifically has very strict regulations, which allow very limited amounts of companies to participate and no home grow. So what's going to happen is if we pass Amendment 3, the people that are visiting Florida can utilize that program, and hopefully one day we can get for home grow for patients to be able to grow at home, but baby steps.
Baby steps, baby steps. All right, well, thank you very much, ladies, for taking time on Space Coast Daily. We're live. Thank you very much. As mentioned, there's amendments on the vote, and there's also a lot of candidates here. So there's people that are representing certain amendments as well that they have gotten onto the ballot, or even people that want to be able to get stuff on the ballot. There's also stuff like that as well here at this Space Coast Political Hobnob here. We're joined here with Mr. Bill Posey, very familiar with the Space Coast Daily audience. Bill, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Zach?
Doing great. We just had an interview with Mike Herodopoulos, who you endorsed, and talk a little bit about the job and everything that you experienced in Washington, D.C. What would be your advice to Mike if he is elected on November 5th? What would you best give him advice for?
Well, I would tell Mike to keep doing the same thing that he's been doing his entire life. Be transparent, be accountable. Don't have to tell that guy to work hard because nobody works harder than him.
So Bill, what's next for you now? After retirement here for Congress, what are you going to do now?
Well, the word retirement scares the hell out of me. So, right now I'm focused on 2 things.
Okay.
Getting Donald Trump elected and getting Mike Herodopoulos elected. And after that election's over, then I'll try and figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. So I still don't know.
Bill, all your dedication and public service to Brevard County, we appreciate everything that you did for Brevard County all those years. And we know whatever you're going to do, you're going to be successful in, like everything you've done in your life.
Thank you, Zach. God bless you. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate your readers.
Well, thank you very much, Bill Posey, obviously an icon here in this community, and we thank you for his service, public service here for Brevard County. Thank you, Mike. Bill. We're going to continue on here. And we got the Brevard County Republican Party here. We're Zach Clark here on Space Coast Daily. We're live on Space Coast Daily right now.
How you doing?
Rick Lacey here, chairman of the Republican Party for Brevard County. Rick, talk a little bit about Trump and getting ready for the election. With the Harris campaign just came out with the VP. What's your first take on the VP?
Well, I didn't think it was possible to find somebody more left-wing than Harris, but they did. So, kudos to them. But anyway, I just got back from the Republican National Convention. I was a delegate. It was a great convention. The party has never been this unified before in the history, and we are looking forward to what I believe is going to be a landslide election in November. Once the sugar high of La La Land of Harris dies down, all they have to do is go back and listen to what she's been saying for the past 10 years, and anybody in their right mind will not vote for Kamala Harris.
When you were a delegate there, what was one of the main takeaways you said is unity amongst the party? What do you think really coalesced the party around in Milwaukee? I mean, that was only a week after, not even a week after Trump got shot.
2 days. I mean, they tried to kill him on Saturday. The convention started on Monday. So, I mean, we were praying, like there's no tomorrow, that thank God, nothing happened to him, because Trump brings the country together. He really will. When people know that he's going to get the economy back on track, he's going to secure our border, he's going to straighten out some of these messes with foreign affairs, he's going to bring back less crime, more police protection in the cities, and he's going to get our education system back on track. The country will back Donald Trump, because they know that whether they like his personality or not, it doesn't matter. They know that he gets the results that this country needs, and they know that the past 4 years has been an absolute shambles. The economy, education, transportation. If anybody flies anywhere in the past 4 years, they know what I'm talking about. I mean, and our allies are disappointed in us. And it's not a coincidence that Putin and President Xi and Iran have done all this aggressiveness and Hamas after Trump left office. They do not fear Biden. They have no respect for him or Harris, and that's why we need Donald Trump back in, to make the country secure, safe, and prosperous once again.
What are you seeing in Brevard County for the Republican Party? What are you seeing that issues are most important for people, or they want to have addressed here and have Republicans take control here in this next election?
Well, the economy is the biggest issue. I mean, everybody, when they go to the gas pump, when they go to the grocery store, they can't even afford to go on vacation. They can't afford to send their kids to college. I'm a realtor. They can't afford to buy a house. The interest rates are high. The stock market is shaky because of Biden. People need stability back in our economy again. And, the one thing that James Carvell, the Democrat consultant, said years ago, it's the economy, stupid, and everybody knows it. And the economy has been an absolute disgrace. We never had an inflation problem under Donald Trump. And every time people go to the store to buy anything, clothes, food, gasoline, housing, books, whatever, they're paying outrageous prices. And they can't afford to do it anymore. People are struggling. And that's the key issue in this campaign.
Rick Lacey, Chairman of the Republican Party for Brevard County, thank you very much for taking time on Space Coast Daily. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. We're going to continue on here, and we got a lot of festive atmosphere here at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa. A little bit less crowded up near towards the front of the building rather than at the back end of the building, but the back end of the building is where a lot of the straw poll is, so there was a huge line back there. But up front here, it's a little bit more aired out. We're going to continue on here. John Columbus, Space Coast Daily, we're live right now.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. And
I'm running for United States Senate against Rick Scott. I'm saying that it's time for one of the richest senators to retire and spend more time with his grandkids and allow the next generation to step up. There are only about 3 millennials represented on the Senate floor, and I think it's about time to replace the millionaires with more millennials.
Let's talk a little bit about what issues are important to you. If you are elected, what would you address?
My top issue is conservation. I believe we need to take care of the environment. I don't know if a lot of Republicans agree with me on this issue, but I believe that words matter, and conservation couldn't be possible without a good conservative. And I'm a conservative for the 21st century, and I believe that if we don't take care of our home, it's not going to take care of us. And some Republicans are very liberal with how they treat the environment. So if you want to have a debate on that, I would love to. Another one is education. We are at a time when computers are learning how to read and write better than us. And so in order to compete with that, we need to learn how to read again. So I want to make America read again. Let's read as many books as you can, cover to cover, sharpen those critical thinking skills, and that way, when you see a 15-second clip that a computer made, you can understand if it comes from a place of genuality or not.
If people want to find out more information about you, how can they best reach you? A website?
Yeah, columbusforcongress.com, where you can find the attached Facebook page. I'm constantly in contact with people every single day. If you message me, comment, I always respond back. So give me a shout out.
Thank you very much. John Columbus, running for United States Senate. Thank you for taking time on Space Coast Daily. We're going to continue on here.
Charles, want to interview me?
Here with Chuck Sheridan, Space Coast Daily. We're live right now on Space Coast Daily. I want to talk a little bit about you're running for State Senate, District 19. We saw you at the straw poll results. We'll talk a little bit about what things you want to be able to address here as we get ready for the primary on August 20th. What do you want to address if you are elected?
Insurance reform. We need from homeowners insurance, all business insurance, car insurance. You know, we're one of 10 states that has no-fault insurance. So if you're involved in an accident with an out-of-state driver, they get back home and they probably develop a neck injury and your insurance company's going to pay for it. That's why our insurance rates are higher. And all 10 states that have no fault have higher insurance rates. Homeowners insurance, I sat on the governor's Construction Education Outreach Council that we came up with a comprehensive plan on how to educate Floridians what to do before, during, and after a hurricane. In 2007, after the 2006 hurricanes that devastated the state. And our insurance rates should be 50% of what they were before 2007 because our codes that we strengthened after Andrew we've got the strongest buildings in the country, but our insurance Florida doesn't guarantee their insurance companies like they did when I was on the board. The Florida Insurance Guarantee Association buys insurance from American Guarantee Association. So our rates are going up because of the fires in California and Hawaii more than they are from the hurricanes from the last 20 years. So,
Thank you very much, Chuck. If people want to find out more information about you or what issues are important to you, how can they best reach out to you? Or you have a website?
VoteChuckSheridan.com. And real easy, just VoteChuckSheridan.com. It'll take you to my Facebook website and go from there.
All right, thank you, Chuck.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're doing a good job.
Yep, thank you. He's running for State Senate, District 19. Let's continue on here. We got Ava Taylor running for School Board District 4. We're live on Space Coast Daily right now. Talk a little bit about what you want to address on the next school board if you are elected.
Okay, well, hey everybody, Dr. Ava Taylor, and I'm here as really one of a parent that really just kind of turned my advocacy into action after the unfortunate things that happened to my son. But it's so much more things than that. It grew, it just began getting active in the community and getting more involved in the school board activities. Really opened my eyes to things, and I really want to bring about that change.
You're a parent yourself, and you know this really means a lot to you. What inspired you to get involved in being part of the school board?
Well, what inspired me was really my son was unfortunately the child that was hazed at Vieira High School with the football team. And really I decided, after that happened, I'm like, let me look at myself and see what I need to do. So I decided to start, I was going to school board meetings, but I wasn't really going consistently. So I made sure I started going to those things all the time, except for the morning ones at 9:30. And then got involved in the Discipline Review Board Committee to just really get a better understanding of what was going on. And then really also just getting involved in mentoring. And because I think that's a big, huge part of it. And so I just decided, like, hey, what can I do? And I just decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and exercise my right to run. I'm active duty, and I'm able to do that to run because it's a nonpartisan position. So I really am just thankful.
Vieira Middle School just opened up, a new school in the district. That's very exciting times. Talk about the excitement and really the first middle school built in Brevard County in over 30 years.
Oh, yes, I think that's great, and I think it's the first of many to come. I mean, when we first got here, after I was deployed and came and got stationed out here, we were over at Delora, so having to go across the water and everything. So I think that it's definitely a very good convenience for the families that live over here in Vieira.
Dr. Ava Taylor running for School Board District 4, School Board C4. We're going to continue on here on Space Coast Daily. We got Tyler Soroy, who is running for re-election. We got Robert Jordan here for Space Coast Daily. We're live here on Space Coast Daily. How you doing, Robert? Good. Robert, we're getting ready for the August 20th primary. How are things going so far? How's the election looking for you?
To me, the election is going very well. I get very positive feedback from everybody throughout the county, because one of my focuses is we have to have relationships with everyone, because we make a decision. Even though I have to focus on District 1 to get elected, it's all about the whole county for sure. And honestly, I love this county because this county has done so much for me and my family.
What are some things on day one, if you are elected, that you want to be able to address?
The first thing is simple to me. As a businessman, you got to be able to communicate with your constituents. So I plan to have myself to reach out to every person who has voted and not voted and let them know we're open for business. And let them know that our doors are open and we want to do and serve them as much as we possibly can.
Robert Jordan, you're running for Brevard County Commissioner, District 1. What are some of the things on the county commission that you want to be able to bring to District 1 that it doesn't have right now?
You know, we got to be careful because in District 1, there are people who want roads, there are people who don't want roads, there are people who are on septic tanks and people don't want to get off the septic tanks. We actually just need to come together because in my mind, the Indian River Lagoon, when I came here in 1979, I used to be able to put a chicken bone in the water and pull up all the blue crab that I want. We can't do that, and the Indian River Lagoon is an economic engine for us, and we got to make sure we clean that up. But the second thing is the infrastructure that we have. A lot of people talk about all the development that's going on. We got to make sure that we can maintain what we have and build up those things that we don't have for sure.
If people want to find out more information about you or learn more about what issues are important to you, how can they best learn more about that?
Very easy, voterobertjordan.com.
Very easy right there. Thank you very much, Robert Jordan, Brevard County Commission, District 1 Republican. Continuing on here on Space Coast Daily here at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa. We're getting ready here for the Space Coast political hobnob straw poll that's going to be happening at 7:30. That straw poll closes at 7 p.m. So for people that may want to come on down, you can be able to come on down and be able to put your vote in. We still have some time here up until 7 o'clock. The straw poll results will be provided at about 7:15. So if you want to be able to find out maybe where some of the results of some of these straw polls are, we'll get that over to you and be able to get the pulse of the Brevard County community about where they are in the election. We got Kathy Meehan here. Kathy Meehan running for Mayor of Melbourne, and obviously we're going to get a quick interview with her. Sorry, we're interrupting your dinner time, but how are you doing, Kathy?
Doing well.
What issues in Melbourne is such a growing community? It's growing so fast. You got so much that's going on in Melbourne. Let's talk a little bit about that and what kind of things that you want to be able to address in the next term, and some of the things that you're proud of that you've done in the first term.
Well, some of the things I'm proud of is the Apollo extension. We got that done. I was on the airport board, so we got the new control tower. That was much needed. And some of the roads got paved. As far as the future, we have some issues with the homeless that we need to deal with. And it's a complicated issue. And that's something all the cities will have to address. But the other thing is Ellis Road. I want to fund that. That's so important for the airport. And it's a direct location for the airport. So we want to get that going and fund it properly.
The downtown Melbourne area has, there's been a lot of people want to grow that community a little bit more. What is the best plan forward to be able to try to grow that and kind of increase businesses and money down in downtown Melbourne?
Well, the issue is high rent. So if we keep the rent down, then we can support the small mom and pops. That's what I enjoy about downtown Melbourne. We're a small business, family owned, and we want to keep it that way. So we're all going to have to work together. And I think we can do that. We're just in a transition right now. It's no different. We have our highs and our lows. So we're going to move forward and grow a great downtown. And we also have O'Galley, too. So we don't want to forget them.
Kathy, if people want to find out more information about you, how can they best learn more information about Kathy?
Then come to my website, meehanformayor.com, or I got the QR code. Sorry.
There you go, right there. Very nice. Thank you very much, Kathy, for taking time with Space Coast Daily.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And we're going to continue on here. One of the great things about this event is the uniqueness of being able to learn about different candidates in a very short amount of time. If you are hesitant about a particular candidate, you can actually come up here and you can actually talk to the candidate themselves and ask them a question on a particular issue. Or you can also learn more maybe about a candidate that maybe you wouldn't have voted for before. It's an opportunity to be able to learn more about them. We're continuing on here. All right, we're continuing to move along here. We're gonna get Mr. Dan Diesel himself. How's it going, Dan?
Good. What's up, guys? There's my guys. Here we are. Let's go. It's hot in here.
Running for Brevard County Commission, District 1, an icon of the North Brevard community, Dan Diesel, a Space Coast Sports Hall of Famer too. And Dan, I got to ask, how's the campaign going so far as you get ready for the August 20th primary?
I think it's going great. I think that the grassroots are coming to me. The relationships over the years are coming to me. It's kind of what I counted on, whether it be the Titusville High people or the Port St. John people who went to Titusville High School and I was a head coach, or when I worked at Space Coast and my son was a head coach, or even the North Cocoa people where I'm coaching right now. I feel really good. I feel if we're going to win this thing, it's going to be on relationships. It's not going to be on money. It's not going to be on big donors. It's going to be on grassroots. It's going to be on the people that I coach. It's on the people I tried to make a better life for.
One of the things I noticed in your sign and in your campaign is the football. And you're a huge influential figure when it comes to football in the community. How can you best utilize the aspects of football, be able to bring people together? How can you best put that in the political realm and bring people together and do what you need to do?
Well, I hear people all the time say that we're going to do this and we're going to do that and I'm going to do this. You're not going to do anything till you get 3 votes. You're not going to do anything till you get a coalition to come together. And I feel it's so much like a team. You're not very good as individuals. Nobody can win a state championship. I'm blessed to have been part of 2 state championships at Cocoa in the last 2 years. Nobody's going to win that by themselves. You have to do it together. And as I walk into the county commission, and hopefully that happens, one of the things I said to all my football teams over the years is, this is a we thing, not a me thing. If you want a me thing, go join the bowling team and get your own lane with your own line and your own score. We don't have that in the county commission. We don't have it at City Hall. You don't have it down there. We have to do this together. And if the football can symbolize that, that's great.
What are some things that you just mentioned a few of them, but what are some other things that are going to be important to you to address if you are elected and you are a Brevard County Commissioner, District Commissioner?
Well, smart growth. We're going to grow. I want to see us grow. I don't ever want to see us stop growing. I say this to my athletic teams all the time. If we're not growing, we're dying. We need to grow, but we have to be smart in our growth. Too many times I've seen it where even in my own city where we've got a project and it may have been started before I got there, but we've got a project and we don't have the infrastructure set in that we need. Oh, well, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Titusville right now, we have a $40 million infrastructure project going on. Why? Because we didn't get the infrastructure done we should have gotten done in the last several decades. Some of it was we didn't have the funds for it, but you've got to have the infrastructure, you've got to be smart, and smart growth is not only economically smart and infrastructure smart, environmentally smart. And to me, if we can take care of all of that, the rest will follow. So that to me is the biggest thing. We're going to grow, and we're growing. And a lot of people want us to stop growing. I'd like to see us grow smart.
Dan, if people want to find more information about you and what issues are important to you, give us a website that you have or a Facebook page that people will be able to learn more about you.
DanDieselCampaign.com. And matter of fact, we can hand all that stuff out.
Yeah.
But there we go right there. Dan Diesel County Commission. You put that in Google, you're going to find it. Dan Diesel County Commission. And you might find a couple other cool things like Florida Athletic Director of the Year or Teacher of the Year. No, I'm kidding.
Your Space Coast Sports Hall of Fame profile, too. Maybe I'll be able to.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about that. You already hit that.
Well, thank you very much, Dan. We appreciate taking time, and best of luck on that August 20th.
We're at a very very busy basketball game. It's hot and it's loud.
Yeah. What do you sweat more at here at a Hobnob event or in the dog days of fall camp as you get ready for the high school football season?
I'm sweating a lot. I sweat a lot last week too, but I got to tell you, you get out on that football field. Well, at least sometimes you got a breeze out there. Yeah. So it's hot no matter what we do. We're in Florida.
That's right. But thank you, Dan Diesel. Thank you, Tim.
Guys, thank you.
Dan Diesel running for Brevard County Commission District 1 as a Republican. Obviously a huge staple of this community, and when it comes to education and sports in this community, he is an icon in this community, and that's the reason why he is a Space Coast Sports Hall of Famer. We're continuing on here. Let's go over here to the We're here with another interview right now. We're here with Joe Babbitt, a Republican running for Congress. Talk a little bit about the campaign, Joe, and how's it been going for you?
Well, it's my first campaign ever, and it's a startup, and we're having issues. But it's getting out there. I'm getting the name. I've done a few debates already. So it's positive, but, you know.
What are some things that you want to address should you be elected? What were some of the things on day one that you want to be able to address as a congressman?
Term limits. 2 terms and you're done. And I commit I will never serve more than 2 terms. And if I can I have 6 or 7 things on my website, but I've listed them here. Drain the swamp, secure the border, protect our veterans. Tunnels to Tower is a great charity, but that should be a right for our veterans. If they fall and give their ultimate life, we take care of their family. That's the only patriotic thing to do. So,
if people want to learn more about you, Joe, how can they best learn more about you?
BabbittsForCongress.com. BabbittsForCongress.com, or just Google Joe Babbitts. It'll all come up. You can get there. But I would be amiss. During this race, I got to know one of the other candidates, John Herndon. And he's a good man. He wants change like I do. I mean, I'm going up there as a pissed off attorney that wants to get stuff done. But here's the man right here, if you want to get him on camera. But he's a very good man. And had I known him as well as I got to know him, I don't know if I would have run. Because I'm not good at raising money. I've used my own money. But he's good. But look at BabbittsForCongress.com and HerndonForCongress.com. Compare us and then vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Joe Babbitt, Republican for Congress, and Drain the Swamp, one of his taglines. We're going to continue on here at the Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa here at the 2024 Space Coast Political Hobnob presented by Florida Power and Light. We got another school board race here. We got Keith Schachter, who's running for District 4. We're live on Space Coast Daily right now. Keith, talk a little bit about District 4, school board seat 4. What do you want to get done on, if you are elected as a school board member, what were the first things that you want to be able to address?
Well, I think the number one most important issue is that we establish more decorum on the school board. I think everybody needs to work together. It seems like there's a lot of political divisiveness, and I am a centrist, and I want to try to get people to work together. That's mission number one, critical.
Some of the things that we've heard on the school board is they want to be able to try to bring some unity and at least, like you mentioned, some decorum. What are some ways and what are some common ground issues that you're finding that you may be able to find some common ground with your other school board members?
Well, I mean, that's in terms of common ground. Can you give me a little bit of more specifics? Because there's a lot.
Are there certain things that you feel like it will be able to get done right away off the bat, some particular issues?
Well, for one, I definitely think that we need to, the school district does a pretty good job of facilitating partnerships with the businesses. I personally work with that, so I think that I would love to solicit more feedback from the community. Having worked in the schools for 17 years, I know that sometimes the school people kind of work inside the box, and I feel it's the responsibility of the schools to put out citizens that are going to be productive members in work. And so we really need to get feedback from the business owners and all the leading people in the area so that we could help form a curriculum that's going to be more consistent with getting our local kids onto, working locally. It's about bridging that talent pipeline, if you will.
School Board District 4 is a loaded race. There's 3 other candidates also in the race. What do you think separates you from everybody else in the race?
I appreciate the question. I have the most experience in the schools. I spent 10 years in the classroom as a classroom teacher. I spent 7 years outside the classroom as a school administrator for 2 different schools and a magnet school coordinator. I also saw a problem inside the schools and created a company to address it so that we can bring in funding to the schools through the sale of advertising. So I feel like my body of work speaks for itself, and I'm ready to bring positive systemic change to Brevard Public Schools.
Thank you very much, Keith. If people want to learn more information about you, how can they best learn more about you and what issues are important to you? You have a website?
Yeah, my website is www.fixbps.com.
All right, well, thank you very much, Keith. Running for School Board District 4. That is a loaded race. We've interviewed all the candidates with the exception of Max Madel, who is not here right now. But so we're going to continue on here on Space Coast Daily. We're live on Space Coast Daily here, and we got Andrea Fant, who's going to be running for Circuit Judge, 18th Judicial Circuit. And Andrea, thank you for taking time on Space Coast Daily. And are you enjoying yourself here at this great event?
I am meeting a lot of voters today, people who've already voted for me, people who are committing to voting for me, so thank you for that.
Well, being a circuit judge, talk to us about what are some of the things that you're seeing that you can bring that is something different that they haven't had before.
Yes, so my motivation for running for Circuit Court Judge is for the past 5 out of the 14 years that I've been an attorney, I've been an assistant public defender, and I go into the courtroom on a daily basis, and I'm fighting for my clients' constitutional rights and doing whatever I can, but feeling that this system in general wasn't getting better. And I was getting really frustrated with how we deal with individuals who suffer from drug addiction, as well as individuals who suffer from mental illness and intellectual disabilities. And so one of the things that I want to do is see us use our resources more to address the underlying issue, as opposed to simply just defaulting to incarceration. So I want to see us use inpatient rehab where the circumstances and the law will allow. And I also want to see us adopt programs to help deal with the mental illness and intellectual disabilities that people experience.
It's polarizing times here in the country, and there's a lot of people that are divided, and there's certain people who feel like they're not getting treated a certain way than compared to another. How can you best, as a judge, be able to bring something unique that maybe people may be wanting to hear on the bench?
I think at the end of the day, people want to be treated fairly, and that's what our judicial system owes them. We have a system that is based off of equality, and we need to make sure that people get their fair shake. And I bring that. I know it. I have clients who have felt that the system didn't give them justice or felt like they were disenfranchised or whatever the case may be. And I just want to make sure that I bring that to everyone in the courtroom, whether you're on the side of the defense or the side of the prosecution, whether you're the victim or the defendant. I think everyone should be treated equally.
Tell us about Andrea Fant. Are you from Brevard County?
I am born and raised in Melbourne, Florida. And so my mom's a retired school bus driver. My sister's in the Army. I grew up here, went to Palm Bay High, went to Florida State University for undergrad and FAMU for law school. And like I said, I've been an attorney for over 14 years at this point.
A Palm Bay Pirate. All right, great stuff. Thank you very much, Andrea Fant. If people want to find out more information about you, how can they best learn more about you and what issues are important to you?
Yes, AndreaFantforJudge.com.
Thank you very much, Andrea Fant.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to continue on here. Getting ready here for the straw poll that closes at 7 p.m. The straw poll results will immediately come in at about 15 minutes after the poll closes. We'll start getting some results. You'll be able to see that on spacecoastdaily.com, where you'll be able to see and get the pulse of the Space Coast community a little bit of what we might see on August 20th here for the primary and eventually the November 5th election. Once again, we've got just a couple more interviews and then we'll wrap it up here from Space Coast Convention Center in Cocoa. Right now we're going right along where the straw poll, where people cast their votes for the straw poll. So bear with us right here with this traffic. And we got another interview. He's familiar to Space Coast Daily. He's had a couple interviews on Space Coast Daily. Mike Jaffe, right for Palm Bay City Council, seat 5. And Mike, I got to ask, some of the things that we asked you before, but I want to ask you some of the things that are important to you. If you were to be able to be elected on the Palm Bay City Council, what are some things that you want to be able to address on day one?
Yeah, really, just clarify my elections in November 5th. Really, I just want to be a voice for the people. I want to be someone with an open door policy, someone they could come to for issues. There's things that caused me to run originally, the infrastructure, police, fire, security, but as I get to know the residents more and more, I'm finding out that there are larger issues. And I think with my skill set as a small business owner and somebody that's run large corporations with over 250 employees, I think I provide the valuable experience to help turn the city around.
If people want to learn more information about you, Mike, do you have a website?
Yeah, I have a website. It's jaffeforpalmbay.com, and my cell phone number is 321-313-5771. I'm welcome for a phone call or text at any time.
Mike, some of the things that we've interviewed some people for Palm Bay City Council, what separates you from the other candidates?
I think my skill set, somebody that's been in construction and land development, that understands planning and zoning, somebody that understands smart growth, somebody that understands budgets, somebody that understands people and building relationships. And
Palm Bay is growing really fast.
Palm Bay is growing really fast, and I think things have gotten out of hand, and we're feeling the pain of that with the budget. I think we're feeling that with traffic. I think we're feeling that with fire, police, and security. And I don't think the fix is overnight, but I think I can help build that foundation and turn it around.
Thank you very much, Mike. Thank you for taking time with Space Coast Daily.
Thank you very much.
We're going to continue on here. Mike Jaffe, who's running for Palm Bay City Council, seat 5. Once again, we're here at the Space Coast Convention Center here in Cocoa, and you can see it was a huge crowd when we first came in. There's a little bit of a filtering out right now, but a very, very successful event, and a lot of great interviews with a lot of the candidates. And we have another one here where we're going to talk to Vinny Toronto.
Like the city in Canada.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
Vinny, you're running for Brevard County Commissioner, District 5.
I am.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that what inspired you to run for County Commissioner?
Well, I've been diving deep in the community for about 10 years, working on a lot of different things, from coaching Little League soccer to helping on the homeless and affordable housing issue, also Green Gables. So we were able to raise enough money to buy Green Gables, and now it's a permanent part of Melbourne. It will not be a condo, it will not be a car wash. And so I've spent a lot of time learning about the community, and so I care about the community, and I want to help. And I think I've got the experience and the knowledge to be a good leader in our community.
What are some of the things that you want to address as if you were elected as County Commissioner, District 5? What are some of the things that you want to be able to address as you represent District 5?
Great, good question. I'm sure everyone says infrastructure, right? Everyone's like,
that's been a common one.
No, smart infrastructure. No, green infrastructure. You know, lots of different words. But it's interesting. I was born and raised here, but I did go away to college and I've traveled a lot, so I've seen a lot of different places. But also in the past 5 years or so, this place seems like it's gotten big real quick. And so what I want to do, you can't stop progress, but what I want to do is I want to do it smart. And I want to do it right, and I want to do it the way our citizens want it done. And so I'm listening. So infrastructure, obviously. Also personnel. You know, we got a county manager who's going to be ready to retire soon. Frank, you're not ready to retire soon. I'm not saying that. I know you're Italian, I'm Italian. Not that type of retire. But seriously, we've got county personnel that have been here for a while, and Frank stayed on until the new commission came. Assistant county manager. So we really need to make a plan, both personnel, infrastructure, countywide, on how we're going to move forward. Also the lagoon. I've been honored to serve you on the half-cent sales tax oversight committee for 8 years. So we've been spending the dollars wisely. The lagoon is better, clearer, and so we're ready to move forward and see where we go from there.
Vinny, if people want to learn more about you, how can they best, we got a website, you got a Facebook page?
Can you put this card and hold it up for the camera? Because it's got my website, it's got a QR code, it's got my Facebook. If they just shout Vinny, I'm everywhere in the community, because the community is important to me, and so just shout Vinny, and I'll be like, yo, I'm here. Go, Vinny! See? Go!
Vinny Toronto, thank you very much. We're running for our County Commissioner, District 5.
No, District V. District V.
District V.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Roman for
okay.
five,
Okay.
It's my district,
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. Vinny Toronto.
Yeah, thanks, man.
District V.
District V.
Hi, join. We're gonna do a quick. What's he doing? We're live on Space Coast Daily here, and we got Joanne Terry, who's running for Florida House District 31. That's correct. Let's talk a little bit about that, and how's the campaign going so far for you?
Oh, the campaign is going fantastic. We are super excited. My platform is really about the things that I know here in District 31 that we all agree on, like our property insurance, like protecting our environment. And this is a fantastic forum here tonight because I really get to highlight how I believe focusing on the people and the communities here is really good for business. I'm a big believer in growing business from the people and the communities up and not from the big corporations down.
Representing District 31, what are some of the things that you want to be able to do to bring to the table and address on day one representing District 31?
Well, excuse me. I'm a retired satellite systems engineer. And one of the things that I did as an engineer is I have to find unique solutions to really hard problems. And our number one problem right now is property insurance and the fact that our property insurance keeps going up. And the 8+ bills that have been passed aren't helping. I think we need to reimagine a whole different solution that includes not just the insurance companies, but finance and mortgage companies and homeowners, and reimagine different ways to provide repairs after disasters so that our premiums can be lower now.
That's one of the things I think we've been noticing is there's been a lack of options for people to choose between their insurance. How can we best maybe try to improve upon that, maybe invite some competition?
So absolutely. So competition, it's not just a competition for insurance. It has to be competition for insurance products. So as an example, my husband and I, we've been paying for our property insurance. We're on the water in Satellite Beach. We paid over $50,000 in insurance in the past 10, 12 years, and we have not had a single solitary claim. And we would be willing to get a low-cost loan after a catastrophe because we could afford to pay a loan back. That would take our house out of the risk pool and then allow for more people who actually really need that insurance to have a lower rate in a lower risk with lower number of people that would need to be repaired after. So that's one example. I have several other ideas.
If people want to learn more information about you, how can they best learn more about you and the issues important to you?
Oh, absolutely. My website is joanneterry.com. It's spelled out JoanneTerry.com. And on my website, I also have a list of how our incumbent has been voting the last couple of years and how my positions differ from his actual votes, so people can make a comparison.
Thank you very much. Property insurance, it's been a growing topic. It's a hot button issue amongst the Space Coast community. So you're really tapping the pulse right there of the Space Coast community right there.
And we can all agree on it. It's not something that's going to politically polarize us. It's something that we can all come together and actually make progress on.
Thank you very much, Joanne Terry. Thank you very much. She is running for Florida House District 31. If you want to learn more information, you can go and check out her website at joanneterry.com. We're going to continue to move along here. Are you going to? Zach Clark here for Space Coast Daily. We are live here, and we got an amendment that we're going to be discussing here. And first off, you introduce yourself to the Space Coast Daily audience.
Yeah, my name's Neil Johnson. I'm the chair of the AVT Council.
Talk a little bit about this, and what exactly is this, the AVT Abate program?
So the AVT is an ad valorem tax abatement. It has been around since 1994 when it was first approved by the voters. Sunsets every 10 years. It is an incentive that we're able to use to recruit and retain high-tech, high-paying manufacturing type jobs to our community, which then helps the entire community. Sunsets every 10 years. We're on that 10th year this year, so we're asking the voters to approve it again for another 10 years. It has been approved to be on the ballot, so it will be on the ballot in November, and we're just asking voters to keep this tool in our tool belt that we can use to recruit companies to continue to come to our area.
If people want to learn more about this, how can they learn more information about it?
So they can reach out to the EDC has information on it. We've got some flyers that we can do. We're doing presentations on it. We're putting together a website. It will be hosted by Business Voice, so will be a link on the Business Voice website.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We are everything that's great about this event is you can learn about a lot of different things, and one of those things is the AVT Abate program that is going to be on the ballot again this year. After he just mentioned that it's every 10 years that it comes up, and as a Brevard County voter, you have the right to be able to vote the measure back in. And we got Sandy Kennedy, who's running for Congress. We're live on Space Coast Daily. How are you doing? We're going to talk a little bit about how's the campaign going so far, and what do you think? What are some of the things that you want to address in Congress?
Well, the campaign's going very well. I'm getting a very good, warm reception from the people. I'm having a lot of people. It doesn't matter what party they are. They like what I stand for, and they like me generally and my qualifications. And so, honestly, that one question of which priority. There are so many things that we need to get done, and I feel very competent to get a lot of these things done because I am a lawyer with 30 years experience. I'm board certified, and I have a degree in political science. I've thought about what I would do in Congress for many years. So one of the things I really want to address right now is reproductive rights. Women's health care and women's lives are very important. We may need to use positive measures to take care of the abortion issue, not negative criminal measures, which prevent women from getting health care when they need it. And then there's taking care of Social Security. It's a very simple fix. Just raise the income level on who would be contributing to it, and maybe leave a donut, an area where we're not taxing or overtaxing certain people, and then catch up again with the higher income, so that it's a more sound program. It's the greatest program in the history of this country, and we don't want it to be financially insecure.
Sandy, if people want to find out more information about you, do you have a website?
Yes, sandykennedyforcongress.com, and you can find 14 issues there and a lot of details if you click on each issue.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Thank you. We're going to continue on here.
Hey, buddy, how about equal opportunity? Yeah. I'm running for House Representative.
All right, we're going to continue on here on Space Coast Daily. I have you, Juan Hinojosa.
Yeah.
One of the most unique names we've had here. Talk a little bit about what issues you're running for District 32 House of Representatives. Talk a little bit about some of the issues that you want to be able to address on day one.
I want to repeal House Bill 627.7288, passed by the legislature last year because it raised our car insurance by $500 by forcing the Floridians to accept coverage that they didn't ask for. It was done in Florida, Kentucky, and South Carolina, and in Arizona, which is a highly Republican state. The state opted their people to opt out of it. So there's very little consumer protection in the state. There's not enough benefits for the veterans. I come from Texas, and I had more benefits as a military veteran in Texas, and I'm also disabled. I'm not a career politician, and both my opponents are.
How long have you lived in Brevard County?
We moved here, my wife and I moved here from Virginia in 2017. Okay. So I've been to I've traveled all over the world, and a lot of people think that I'm Italian. I don't know, maybe the color of my skin, I don't know, Mediterranean, but my lineage is from Spain.
If people want to learn more about you, Juan, how can they best learn more information about you? Got a website?
I've got a website right here. Well, it's not on, it's on here. Juan Hinojosa, District 32 at yahoo.com. And I've got a candidate phone number. 321. I haven't memorized it yet. 978-1605. And if you see my hands trembling, it's because I have PTSD from 30 years in the military.
Well, thank you very much for your service, and thank you, Juan, for taking time on Space Coast Daily.
And the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Thank you very much, Juan. We're going to continue on here. Let's get, we got Thad Oldman here. We got Thad Oldman here. Get a quick interview with Thad. Right. How you doing, Thad?
Doing good.
Doing great. Running for county commission, and I want to talk a little bit about how's the campaign going so far for you. Obviously, you are very familiar to the Brevard County community and Space Coast area.
Oh, it's been going great. Really excited about representing the people of Brevard. We live in the greatest place on the planet, and to be a part of this community and help keep it a nice place and make it a better place to live, I'm looking forward to that.
Brevard County is growing so fast. So what are you finding things that you want to be able to address on day one to help support the community of you're running for County Commission District 5. What do you find that you're going to be able to bring to the table?
Well, we are growing fast, and we need to plan our growth. We need to protect our natural resources. We have to have good quality growth, provide infrastructure, and really support good industry like aerospace. So exciting what's happening in the space industry. I worked at the Kennedy Space Center I've lived that issue, and we need to make sure that we maintain our presence as the premier launch center of the world.
One of the things that we find is very common amongst the space industry is we got a lot of engineers and a lot of high-paying jobs and people that are moving here to this community. Obviously, housing is a big thing here in this community, and houses are being built everywhere, especially in District 5. What do you find is most that you can bring to the table that will be able to help that process and help support people of high-income jobs?
Well, we need to focus our housing in the urban core. We need to be sure that we're placing those houses where they can be most affordable and do the least amount of damage to our infrastructure and national environment. They also had good quality planning where we create active urban centers. We do comprehensive local plans. I served on the commission before. That's one thing I was deeply involved in, not only just in Brevard, but in the regional level, in the Regional Planning Council. So I'm excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, you mentioned your work with the County Commission before. What do you think, what makes you want to get back involved with the County Commission? What do you want to be able to bring to the table that you didn't do before that you want to be able to bring to the table now?
Well, it's interesting now. When I first ran in '84, the situation Brevard is in was very similar then. We had huge infrastructure shortfalls. We had large population growth. We had a need to provide services to industry. This is where we are now. We're growing. We have all these aerospace companies and launch companies coming to Brevard. We need to create an environment that can prosper. We need to provide adequate infrastructure. We need to provide a high quality of life, high culture, high environmental arts, really helping this community grow to be a high quality community.
That if people want to find out more information about you or more of the issues that are important to you that you want to be able to address, how can they best find out more information about your website?
Thad Altman, thadaltman at AOL.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Thad. Best of luck. He's running for County Commission District 5. Going to continue on here on Space Coast Daily.
Yeah. I thought I'd give you some of this. It's got the information, it's got all the issues.
Okay.
Most of the stuff, you may not agree with it 100%, but most people do agree with at least 80% of it.
Okay, well, let's have so we're live on Space Coast Daily right now. We're here with Fina Bonin, who is running for U.S. Senate. Talk a little bit about what made you want to run for U.S. Senate and what inspired you to get involved and throw your hat in the ring.
Okay, well, I first started running for office in 2020, and what inspired me to get involved politically was a couple of things. For one thing, I'm a veteran, so I've seen waste, fraud, and abuse from the military. I've seen the positive aspects as well as the negative aspects of nation building, and I think it's a waste of our tax dollars. What really inspired me to get involved in 2020 was the lockdowns. I was living in Hawaii, the most locked down state in the union. And I ran for state senate out there in 2020. Then I ran for U.S. Senate in 2022 against Brian Schatz. And then I moved here to Florida, where I was born. I was born in Sarasota, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the only person on your ballot this year that was actually born in Florida for U.S. Senate. And honestly, I can't think of anything better right now to send Washington, D.C. for the good of America than a libertarian from Florida with love.
Great stuff. One of the things we're finding that has been very popular amongst the community is our infrastructure. Infrastructure is a big thing amongst this community because of how fast we're growing as a community in the state of Florida. What are some of the things that you would want to address when it comes to infrastructure?
I would love to stop sending money over to Israel and Ukraine and other nations to build and fight their wars, and instead build better infrastructure here in America for places that, I don't know, something like clean water, That'd be nice. There's a lot of places that don't have clean drinking water. Yet we're going over and we are sending our tax dollars that we, you, I, everyone in here put in to support our country. We're sending that overseas. So yeah, I support upgrading our infrastructure 100%. I do not support sending our tax dollars overseas though.
If people want to find out more information about you, Fina, how can they learn more about you?
Sure. You can check me out. I have a couple of different websites. You can Google me. I swear, if you just Google me, I promise you I will be the only Fina Benoan that will pop up. But I have finaforus.com, FinaBenoan.com, and FinaForSenate.com. So those are my 3 websites that I have. You can also find me on social media. I'm on Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube. I even do a podcast because who doesn't these days, right?
One of the most unique names, so I think you'll be able to find that on Google somewhere. Fina Benoan. Benoan. Thank you very much for taking time with Space Coast Daily. And final message to the voters as they get ready to vote here in a couple weeks.
Vote for more than just a color. Look at the candidates. Look at the issues. Really find out what these people are stand for, and you know, if you want to see a change in America, you want to see a change in Washington, you want to see a change in your neighborhood of neighbor versus neighbor, then you need to vote no red, no blue, no matter who.
Thank you very much. Fina Benoan. Fina Benoan, running for U.S. Senate. All right, well, we've covered a lot of territory here today. Over 50 booths here at the Space Coast Convention Center, and opportunities to learn more about everybody. And let's get in another county court judge here. Maybe Clarissa. We're live on Space Coast Daily. Clarissa, hi, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you doing?
Doing great. You're running for county court judge at Group 6. Well, let's talk a little bit about what are some of the things that you as a judge want to be able to address and bring to the table here at if you are elected.
Well, I've been a trial attorney for more than 30 years here in Brevard County. I've done every kind of trial work you can imagine, 12 years as a criminal prosecutor, 5 years in the child welfare system, 14 years in private practice doing a range of civil litigation and child welfare law. So I feel like I have a lot of experience to bring to the table, to bring to the citizens who come into court. County court's very unique, you know, it's the people's court. It's an opportunity to uplift them, to help them problem solve, and to work through the issues they have in the court system, and to help them find a way to move on beyond their problems to potentially a better way of life for themselves.
What will Clarissa bring to the bench if you are elected? What is something that you take pride in your work? What is one of the things that is important to you?
Question. Aside from experience, I have a long work history of being able to do legal research, draft legal memoranda, draft proposed orders for judges to sign on a variety of issues, sometimes complex issues, sometimes basic issues that crystallize the court's reasoning, show the litigants why the court came to a certain conclusion, and to help the people in court understand exactly how the judicial process works so that they can have trust in the outcomes in the courtroom.
If people want to learn more information about you, Clarissa, how can they best find more information? A website you have?
Yes, sir. I have a website, harrell4judge.com. That's HARRELL. 4judge, spelled out.com. There's about a dozen pages of information on there about my entire career and my background, and I would love for people to visit that and take a look.
Running for the primary, that's on August 20th, only 2 weeks away. It's almost here.
Yes, 2 more weeks. We had 3 people in my race, though, so only the top 2 vote getters will move on to the general election in November, unless somebody happens to get 51%. But I have some fantastic competitors in my race, all really great people. I think it might be a close one, but I've really enjoyed the whole campaign process with them.
Clarissa Harrell, running for County Court Judge, Group 6. Thank you very much for taking time with Space Coast Daily, Clarissa. The polls have officially closed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sign off here. We're going to have the poll results on spacecoastdaily.com, so stay tuned for those poll results where they're going to, everybody who came in here today casted their vote in a straw poll. The poll results will be happening in about 15 to 20 minutes or so. We should already have the results, and we'll be able to give you those results here on spacecoastdaily.com. And we want to make sure we thank you for tuning in here on Space Coast Daily for the Space Coast Political Hobnob here at the Space Coast Convention Center, put on by Florida Power of Light. I'm Zach Clark for Juan Rodriguez behind the camera. Thank you very much for taking time here on Space Coast Daily, and we'll see you here for more political coverage here on spacecoastdaily.com as we get ready for the August 20th primary.